layout. And that's the beauty of this airport-style circuit, man. They could change it up so many different ways and keep it exciting for the fans and obviously keep the drivers on the uncomfortable side of things.
The other thing that'll make some drivers uncomfortable is a couple of visitors. We look at LP Montour behind the wheel of that number 13. He had a great qualifying effort in the 6th spot. Justin Arsenault is starting 8th. Of course, his family owns this facility. These are drivers who don't race with us each and every week. Alex LeBay scheduled to start 2nd, but we do need to mention a number of drivers. I have heard as many as 7 drivers have to go to the back of the field. So we'll see what happens on these caution laps. But you throw in a bunch of drivers that aren't accustomed to racing with each other. And I'm hearing it's actually 8 drivers perhaps.
Wow. That's like a third of the field going to the back. Final preparations going on here on the front straightaways. The drivers get buckled in and get ready to roll.
Unfortunately, we don't have a talkback button, but that was the first time the communication was really staticky there, so my apologies. But we can see the drivers mostly strapped in. A lot of the crew chiefs still with their heads inside the windows, which means they're still making final preparations. And with the way these safety harnesses are and the radio communications and the window nets, most drivers don't do that on their own, Clinton.
No, it takes a bit of effort to get all the stuff. You know, you got your cool suit to get connected, your radio, belts, wheel, gloves, Hans. I mean, it goes on and on. You got to make sure you got your drink ready to go, especially on a day like today.
Well, 55 laps times 12 turns. Quick, what is it?
660.
I think it's more than that. But now that
That was just a guess. I was thinking 12 times 5 times 5.
Always have the answer before you ask a question.
Yeah, 660.
660 turns. And the number of shifts you've got to make. And
that sounds like a lot when you put it that way. 660 turns. Don't worry, Marc-Antoine Cameron. You got to lead them for 660 turns.
And it's not a matter of, I've never enjoyed the debate or race car drivers, athletes. Who really cares? We drive race cars for a lot of money. Call them an athlete, call them an entertainer, call them a performer. It doesn't matter. You need a whole lot of focus, a whole lot of skill, and people pay to watch it. So call them what you want. But having to shift gears 660, or turn corners 660 times, shift gears even more times than that on this racetrack, and this is not for the faint of heart. Wait until you see turn number 1, Clinton. It is a wild one here. Well, you've seen it, but
hairpin to get us going. I love it. Right in front of the fans and right in front of the VIP suites and everything. It's perfect.
And we've seen chaos in turn 1 over the years because people get a big run, they sail it down in there. Inevitably, someone will drive in 3 wide on the inside, and then someone will overshoot the corner on the outside, and they'll wind up 4 wide at times and get themselves sorted out. Beyond the hairpin, they'll make a right-hand turn, but then we're going to have to walk you through the 12 corners that make up the racetrack because it is different than what you've seen in recent years.
Did you get a track map?
Yeah, I've got one here.
Oh, I was actually joking. I didn't think you'd actually have one.
My friend, I have what we need. And, of course, I closed that window, so I'm going to open that up again. But it hasn't gone far, I promise. It was so small that it was pretty hard to see. But here we go. The PDF of the track map. And the trouble is I've been here I've called most of these races, Clinton, so I can remember the old layouts, and it's really going to screw me up. Let's open it in a different way.
We're giving you a bit of a look at the old airline control towers. You can see the air traffic control tower there from the old airport.
I don't know if I was supposed to, but I've been on a pretty big self-guided tour of this facility. Buildings that are no longer here now, but they're pretty fascinating. So there's the track map. That one's not going to work, I'm afraid. Let's wait until that keeps on opening.
Get a couple of views of the cameras we've got situated around. You see a couple of the big planes off in the distance. So definitely a tarmac airport.
And again, almost entirely flat. There's enough little bumps and elevation changes to give the track some serious character. But as we look, turn number 1 is a great passing opportunity. So is turn 2. You come through the hairpin in turn 1. The next turn is a right-hand turn in turn 2. Then you got a bit of a straightaway to turn 3. Again, that'll provide an opportunity to pass. Then it's a little bit tighter through 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. From turn number 7 all the way to turn 10. There are turn 8 and turn 9, but it's really a straightaway. So turn 7 and 8, you got a quick bend, and then a pretty sharp left-hander into turn number turn 10. And then 11 and 12 bring us back to the start-finish line. So I think turn 10, turn 1, and turn 3 are going to be the real spots where we watch drivers take a chance. But we've always seen the elite racers, Clinton, and we saw it in Toronto. They find places to make passes that you would never expect.
Toronto is like a tunnel. It's like racing through like a paper towel tube, you know?
A tube.
A tube, yes.
Just like that. It really is. But there's turns there, so you come off of turn 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 is usually just where you follow your competitors. We're looking at the spotter stand there. You normally follow your competitors, but Alex Tagliani and Andrew Ranger love making bold moves right in that area. Let's take you through the starting grid. Here is how they're going to come to the green flag. In fact, let's do this. Here is how they qualified. It's not exactly how they're going to start because of the drivers going to the back, and that's a big story. Alex Labbe, who, if we remember, many years ago made his debut here in the rain, drove from dead last up to finish, I believe, 4th that day. On the pole, it's Marc-Antoine Cameron in the GM Paillet Chevrolet. Outside of the front row, it's Alex Labbe in the Malois Transport, number 36. Row 2 has Alex Tagliani in the St. Hubert number 18 Chevy. And starting 4th in the GM Paillet Chevrolet, it's Andrew Ranger in the 27. In row 3 on the inside, Kevin Lacroix on the Adaptive 174. Alongside him in the 13 in the Kamloops GL Automatisation. Number 13, it's LP Montour. Starting 7th, fresh off his Xfinity race last night in Daytona that didn't end entirely well, but I'm sure it was a great experience. Alex Gannett in the Evirum number 3. Alongside him, his family owns the place. In the Valeria 03, it's Justin Arsenault. Then rounding out the top 10, the WeatherTech 47 is LP Dumoulin and the GSR number 20 of Trayton Lapsevich. In 11th, another Evirum car, the Evirum Home Hardware Ford number 24 of Thomas Neveu. On the outside of row 6, the super clean Castrol Edge 17 is DJ Kennington. Row 7, the AER Manufacturing GM Paillet 87 of Sam Fellows. And alongside him, the Duro King SMS number 12, Raphael Lessard. 15th, who I thought did a phenomenal job on the dirt at Ohsweken, the Sierra Excavating 31 of Daniel Bois. Starting 16th, the Dagobert Chevrolet number 91 of JF LaBerge. 17th in the Prolon Controls, Russo Metals Ford number 1 is JP Bergeron, and 18th in the Recap Recovery Drink, Bullies Truck Stop number 92 is Dexter Stacy. 19th, the Auto Place Qualite Refrigeration Dodge number 54 is Dave Corsall. 20th, in the O'Neill Electric Milwaukee Tools number 84 is Larry Jackson. 21st in the Herbie's Lifts, Anna Romatowska Remax Dodge number 53 is Herbie Drescher. 22nd in the Excellence Dodge Chrysler 55 is Serge Bordeaux. Qualifying 23rd, and this is a first. In the DLGL HCM Software 93, it is Jacques Gannett Sr. And unofficially, this marks the first time a grandfather has come out of retirement. A grandfather of one of our drivers, Alex Gannett, has come out of retirement to compete in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
The age was thrown around earlier in the week. Do you know how old he is?
I don't know how old he is, but he is not as old as Mel Shaw was, who raced with us, who was born in 1946.
Wow.
Yeah. Qualifying 24th In the GSR, Oswego Speedway, Chantarelli Chevrolet. Number 0 is Glenn Stiers, and rounding out the field in the K-Fiber Optic Bullies Truck Stop Chevrolet. Number 66 is Wallace Stacy. And I tell you, that's the qualifying results, because that is not the order they're going to take the green flag in here this afternoon.
So for fans new, Adam, explain how that works. They line up on the grid like this, then they'll move to the back once we start rolling. When do they normally move them to the back, or will they line them up on the grid with them already at the back?
Well, two things change, and there's a reason you often hear, especially when there's weather involved, but in this series, the lineup is determined using the NASCAR rulebook, because they will qualify whatever the number is, and I believe today was the top 17 by time trials, and then 18th on back by the rulebook, which is a combination of points and entry blanks. And then you take the cars that made unapproved adjustments, and they will move to the back. And I don't know if that'll happen this lap or next lap. Road courses change things. On an oval track, they generally do it with 2 to go, I believe. To the back cars pull to the side. On a road course, that sort of changes the dynamics of things.
See the field warming up their tires here as they work their way around on the pace laps at Circuit ICAR just outside Montreal.
So this is turn 3.
Those are go-karts you see off in the distance. It's not an optical illusion there. It's a multi-use racing facility.
It is so. And there's still an active airport here. They've come through turn 4, and then there'll be a sharp left-hand turn at turn number 5.
Here we get a look at the go-karts racing off and the go-kart track off in the distance there. So it just went out of frame.
There's a drag strip here as well. There's an oval. In fact, it was fairly easy to replicate the old St. Eustache oval, because St. Eustache was extremely flat, just like Circuit ICAR. So they'll come through the left-hand turn 5 and then head up turn 6. In fact, you could call turn 5 all the way to turn 10 almost a straightaway, because turn 6 is a sweeping left-hand turn that leads into a sharper left-hand turn. But then from that sharper turn 7, 8, and 9, I don't know how much they have to check up at that part of the racetrack.
A lot of apexing those turns, so cars pretty much straight, but
yeah, you won't want to go through there side by side. Drivers scrubbing their tires back and forth, and you can see some of the elevation where they hit these bumps. You've got to be careful not to have too much steering input or braking into the cars. You hit those bumps, it can really upset things.
So just moments prior to the start here of the Evirum. 125, was that the one to go from Mike Charest? I believe it was.
It sure looked it. And again, that's not a signal you normally see at the start-finish line. You know, with CTMP, you see it when they come out of turn 5. In fact, halfway down the Mario Andretti straightaway, I believe we just saw Alex Lebay in the 36 drop to the back. He is one of those drivers going to the tail of the field, so it's causing a little bit of confusion behind him. Now they're getting sorted out.
Everybody trying to find out where they should be with these cars moving to the back.
So that should put Andrew Ranger How did they crisscross? He must have gone back too. That looks like Justin Arsenault way up at the front. And forgive us, our line of sight doesn't take us all the way around the racetrack, but if Justin Arsenault is on the front row, that means, did LP Montour, Andrew Ranger, and Alex Lebay go to the back? Let me have a quick look at the report that I got. Yeah, Alex Lebay, Andrew Ranger, Trayton Lapsevich, LP Montour, wow. Thomas Neveu, LP Dumoulin, and there might be one more, but my goodness, that puts DJ Kennington, who qualified 12th, up into the 4th spot. Larry Jackson, who qualified 20th.
That's a heck of a gift before we even start the race.
And it looks like LP Dumoulin, they were talking about changing the carburetor on that 47, but it looks like they're maintaining their starting position out there. The field is in the hands of Marc-Antoine Cameron, the Evirum 125. It'll be 55 laps around this 12-corner racetrack. There will be a caution around lap 35 where teams can choose to come in and take on fuel, but that is optional.
Yeah, it is Arsenal up on the outside, Adam, as you said, a bunch of them moving to the back. Really slow pace here as we come around almost back to the start-finish line.
And they advance rows. They don't swap inside to outside. So if 3 drivers in your row have to go to the back, you just picked up half a dozen positions. Marc-Antoine Cameron at a snail's pace coming around. You can see that is part of the oval track. They're just driving by now. Green flag is in the air. We're underway here in Mirabel.
Cameron on the inside. Arsenault slides it way out to the outside.
JF LeBerge did the same thing in that 91. Cameron going to lead the way into turn 2.
Tagliani will make the move into second in that yellow St. Hubert looking car. And just behind them, Kevin Lacroix moves into position number 3. We'll try it now on the inside.
Wow, Lacroix to the inside, and so was Alex Gannett. He sailed it to the inside of Raphael Lessard. As the field will go down through 4 and 5, and then again we'll see a series of left-hand turns. Off of turn number 5, 6 is a sweeping turn, 7 is a little bit sharper, and then they're on the quasi straightaway.
Marc-Antoine Cameron with the lead over Tagliani right now. The 2 Quebecers try and pull out front of a couple more of them right there. So it's Arsenault and Lacroix hanging tight positions 3 and 4. A gap back to the 5th place DJ Kennington.
When Kevin Lacroix won his first race here at Circuit ICAR, nobody thought he was going to do it. He jumped out to an enormous lead, and he set a pace that nobody had ever seen on a road course. And talk up and down pit road was he can't sustain it. He's going to fall off. He never fell off. Since that day, it changed the way we compete on road courses, and you've got to be up on the wheel right now. Cameron out in front, but Tagliani trying to stay with him, and you'll see these cars in all sorts of 4-wheel drifts, Clint.
Arsenault running position number 3 right now. As you mentioned earlier, family-owned surface. You know he's had some laps around here in a bunch of different types of cars, doing a great job holding off Kevin Lacroix as we watch that battle.
Arsenault continuing to hold off the 74. That's a battle for the 3rd spot. They're about 15 car lengths behind Alex Tagliani, who holds on to 2nd. And they come close to all 4 tires off the racetrack as they go through that series of S's. And then come down towards heavier braking where Kevin Lacroix going to show a nose. Maybe even give a nudge there to Justin Arsenault. And boy, oh boy, you could see the rear tire of Arsenault really hanging out outside of that bodywork.
He's been loose through the early stages of this one. Lacroix right on the back bumper. Not going to apply any pressure yet to start knocking. It's way too early to start tearing up the bodies on these cars. Cameron, where we've seen him a lot these past 2 seasons, out front and pulling away.
By design, there's a lot of body roll in these cars, but the 0-3 of Justin Arsenault, that rear end looks like it is really flexing. Like the body looks like it's going to keep on going where the tires are stuck to the racetrack.
Lacroix again applying pressure to the back end of the Arsenault 0-3 as they use up the entire surface up over the rumble strips.
All the way to that Armco barrier on the outside of the racetrack is Justin Arsenault holding off one of the most fierce competitors this series has ever known in Kevin Lacroix in the 74, and he looks edgy. Lacroix to the inside of Arsenault. He's going to make that move for the 3rd spot.
Yeah, it was about 2 turns ago. He just went straight through there. No attempt to turn. Even the leader, Cameron, loose here through the final turn as they come back on the straightaway and under the stripe into turn 1, which is a tight hairpin left.
It's really bizarre, Clint. You know the old expression, loose is fast? And they always talked about that in oval racing. We don't see it that much when we go to the ovals because the cars want to be planted. But on these road courses, you definitely see loose is fast. They really hang them out.
Working on Lacroix, Justin Arsenault just behind him. And tough to see who just pulled into that.
That's Raphael Lessard running in the 5th spot in that number 12 Duro King machine. We've seen Matthew Kingsbury drive that car on ovals, but we've seen Lessard behind the wheel on a couple of road courses.
Yeah, dispatches the 17 of Kennington back in other position And all eyes on Kevin Lacroix right now as he's focused and pushing hard to try and reel in the leader. And there he is, Marc-Antoine Cameron with Tagliani trying to keep him in his sights.
Kevin Lacroix has been good this year, but he hasn't been Kevin Lacroix good. We expect him to be right at the front of these fields. We expect him to be driving just like he is today, making moves early, trying to get his way to the front. He loves to set the pace.
Good look at the rest of the fields. They work their way off the final turn. Turn number 12 back into 1. Now we're back on the leaders as they work their way halfway around the surface.
After going to the back, Alex LeBay is already into the top 10 in that number 36.
Field really starting to stretch out, find their ways here. Everybody pretty much single file. Best battle may be the battle for the lead or the battle for third right now.
Yeah, watching Kevin Lacroix trying to close in on that front two is really what this race is going to be about for the next little while. Cameron comfortably out front, although there never really is a comfortably out front in this racetrack.
There we get a look at Bergeron trying to hold back one of the other cars behind him as they work through the field. Everybody trying to find some more grip out here as we get into this one. And Adam, look how wide this track is. Like, there's so many different lines you could use to get around here.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of runoff there as well, Clint. So you can make a mistake and not pay the hefty price. There's a couple of spots where they'll come right out to those Armco barriers. But for the most part, there's a little bit of runoff as we see Raphael Lessard looking to the inside. That's in turn number 2 on Justin Arsenault, and he had to fall back in line.
Boy, he looked like he was all up on the inside there. Did fall back. He'll take another look here. Under hard braking, and they get together. Lessard and Arsenault. No harm, no foul, though. They both grab here and keep going. Oh, Arsenault looked like he was headed for the payback, but
maybe a little foul. But Clinton, we showed where the spotters were. There is no way to judge sometimes because the depth perception is so challenging on a perfectly flat course. So you need numerous spotters. Raphael Lessard was there. Justin Arsenault did not get the memo.
Lessard pulling away from the Arsenault 0-3 now. I was looking at the right rear of that, Lessard car when he came by. Almost looked like it was flopping around a bit there, but maybe just some tire rub on the backside.
There's so many optical illusions with these cars. I would say I'd given up, but I was already commenting that Justin Arsenault's car was wobbling around. I thought Alex Tagliani slowly closing that gap on camera, and he was about 4/100ths of a second faster that last lap. Kevin Lacroix actually fell off the pace just a little bit the last time by.
Tagliani, a lot of experience here in many types of cars. As we know, the veteran Hall of Famer with a storied career has found a home here in the Pinty Series and doing so well over these past few seasons. But man, he's had some rough luck this year.
It's pretty cool. The Canadian Motorsport Hall of Fame, and I like what they've done. If you do things that are worthy of the Hall of Fame, they put you in there. Alex Tagliani qualifying on the pole of the Daytona 500 is one of them. That's pretty cool. DJ Kennington being another driver of the 17.
Indy 500.
Did I say Daytona?
You did.
Tagliani Indy 500, DJ Kennington, competitor in the Daytona 500. And of course, this is his 201st start here in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Since we're talking milestones, how about you? Happy birthday yesterday, Adam, as we got a yellow out here.
Another year older as Mike Charret waves that yellow flag.
Full course yellow, so we got to find out what is wrong out there. And man, they look so slow under yellow. Cameron looks like he's foot pedaling that car down the front straightaway.
So with the NASCAR Pinty Series, with most NASCAR racing, when we go to road courses, there are no local yellows like you might see in some sports car racing or traditional road course races. You're either under a full course yellow or you're still racing.
So 48 laps to go.
Wallace Stacy had spun out in turn number 1, and it didn't look like he was going to be able to get that car rolling. So that is what has put us under this yellow flag with 7 laps complete.
Field will bunch up again, and under the road course obviously takes a little bit to pace around and get everybody back in the right spot. And they will continue to knock laps off here under yellow.
Beautiful conditions here, Clinton, for these drivers, for these teams. It's a fantastic weekend.
Yeah, as you mentioned in the past, we've seen some rain here in the past. Last time I was there, it actually got rained out after the event. Actually, we got the race in, but it didn't work out. And there we see another look at the Arsenault and Lassard issue.
And that was just a matter of, I don't think Arsenault knew he was there. And really, these drivers, you want them to focus on what's ahead of them and listen for their spotter to let them know. So things have changed, Clinton. In the old school, the drivers were on their own. You had to use your mirrors, your ears, you had to use everything available. And visibility was much, much better back in the day because there wasn't that much safety equipment around your head
Yeah.
to keep you from looking around.
Now they're so contained in these seats. You know, pretty much you can move your head a bit forward, but even side to side, you've got big pads down both sides to keep your head and neck supported.
And thankfully so. I mean, the safety advances have been phenomenal. And there's no doubt they have saved lives.
Yeah, these new seats have been amazing. The way they encompass the driver and custom fit for their exact body certainly helps keep them safe.
Pit road is open. LP Dumoulin pulling up behind the caution car. So
Can't be down a lap.
I'm trying to get my timing and scoring to reset, and it is not. Let's see if it's up and running on the race center. It is.
Yeah, he has passed the pace car.
LP Dumoulin was a lap down, so apologies, we missed that. We knew they were having carburetor problems after qualifying, but I thought they had decided they did not want to be put to the back. But maybe those problems persisted. Apologies for not being up on that.
Marc-Antoine Cameron and Alex Tagliani here with Kevin Lacroix, Raphael Lassard, the top four.
Fastest lap of the race so far goes to Kevin Lacroix, driver of the 74, a 1 minute 6.092 second lap. More than a tenth of a second faster than Alex Tagliani and Marc-Antoine Cameron. We're doubling up. We're going to go green this time by. Cameron will lead the way, and then it's going to be chaos, Clinton, going into turn one.
Alex Gannett up there in the 6th place now. Justin Arsenault lining up in 5th. Pace car ready to make the move off. We are ready to go. Lights are out on the pace car.
Cameron to lead the way. Tagliani.
And Gannett really cleaning those tires off, fishtailing in the pack. Great view as they take it off towards the sunset. Mike Charret waits high up in the perch as they come off the quick left here, and we are on it again. Now Marc-Antoine Cameron had to lead him to the line, Adam.
So now, whether Tag beat him or not to the stripe, Cameron has gotten back past the 18, so all is fine on that restart. Tagliani sorts himself out into the 2nd spot. They're side by side racing for 3rd.
Down the stretch they go. Cameron and Tagliani single file, then it's double file in behind them. Lacroix trying to hold off Lassard, who looks to the inside. Now Lassard on the outside as Arsenault peeking to the inside of the Lassard 12.
Race car drivers have long memories, and Justin Arsenault doesn't have to remember that long. We still don't know if he feels hard done by with that pass by Raphael Lassard, but Lassard is a little bit of daylight between himself and the 12 machine as they drive through the S's. I guess that's a chicane, isn't it?
Yeah, Alex Gannett in the mix now in the number 3, that green nose. Not a traditional look for the Gannett machines, but he's got that out there tonight. Lassard trying to get around Lacroix.
Yeah, 2 cars on the racetrack with the Evirum backing here in the Evirum 125. Alex Gannett in the 3, and the 24 of Thomas Neveu's Alex Tagliani keeping the pressure on race leader Cameron.
Tagliani with the new St. Hubert's look yellow. A few new sponsors out there as well as they work their way around. He is still hanging tough with Marc-Antoine Cameron. the 96 has not been able to get too far away yet.
No, Tagliani able to keep him honest right now. He stays about 2 car lengths off the back of our race leader. Lassard, we can see right there behind Kevin Lacroix. Lacroix has faded back a little bit in the 3rd spot. With Arsenault in 5th, Alex Labey up to 6th. An impressive run from the back for Alex Labey, putting himself in contention here in the early going.
Still a long way to go in this race. Over 40 and a bit still to come here, which is a long way on this road course, as you mentioned, down 12 turns here tonight.
You can see they really pinch off the exit of that sharp turn there, coming into another chicane, basically heading back to the start-finish line, but it gets them a much better launch down towards turn number 1. And Tagliani, you can see him close that gap right up to the back bumper of Cameron, but Cameron was able to out-accelerate him off turn 1.
Tagliani good through turn 1. He's got a couple of spots out here where he may be better than the Paillet 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, but so far it's been that red, white, and black 96, the class of the field so far tonight.
Cameron is keeping his car just a little bit tighter to the inside on the exit of these turns. Tagliani using more racetrack, and really using more racetrack might actually conserve more tires, but Cameron able to really point the car off the corner and get back to the throttle quickly.
Cameron still a little bit loose there as we watch Lacroix. He's also slipping and sliding through the back half of this field, or speedway, I should say.
Raphael Lassard with the pressure on. Justin Arsenault still hanging out in that 5th spot with Alex Labey just behind in 6th.
Lacroix still holding off Lassard, Arsenault, and now the 36 of Labey into the picture. Look at how loose some of them are out there.
Andrew Ranger also up into the top 10. He runs in the 8th spot just behind Alex Gannett. So the other GM Paillet entry, there's a number of them out here. Sam Fellows with some support from GM Paillet as well in the 87, but Ranger also went to the back of the field, so watch for that 27. He's got a number of wins, 4 of them in fact, here at Circuit ICAR.
That's the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Good look at the Duro King 12 of Raphael Lassard. Justin Arsenault behind them. Even a bit further back through the field. Get a look at some of the drivers out there trying to find their way around.
Trayton Lapsevich has fought his way up into the top 10 as well. So driver looking to be fairly conservative, but obviously you have to pull out some of the stops when if you're going to pass a dozen cars in the first 15 laps of a race. We have just completed lap number 13 here at Circuit ICAR in the Evirum 125.
Cameron starting to stretch out his lead a bit now over the Tagliani 18. They still have the same gap to Kevin Lacroix in that 74 as he tries to hold off Raphael Lassard, Justin Arsenault, and Alex Labey's number 36.
All 3 cars behind Kevin Lacroix are part-time here in the NASCAR Pinty Series. So they're not thinking about points. They're not thinking about what might happen in the next race. They're thinking about what they want to achieve right here today.
That makes them dangerous. They don't care as much as you may care about what happens in the future. Not to say they're bad guys, but just
no,
your problems aren't their problems.
Absolutely a fair point as we watch them work their way behind the 74 of Lacroix. Hard to tell if any of them have a lot more speed because we're watching Alex Gannett in the 3 close in on that battle. So which one of these drivers is going to be the one that steps out and makes a pass? And do they have anything to close in on the lead duo?
Yeah, 3rd through 6th has kind of tightened up quite a bit there as those top 2 pull away a bit more.
Still a long way from the, Clint, from the mandatory yellow that should happen around lap 39, and they'll give these teams an opportunity if they choose to fuel up. We'll have to give up a lot of track position potentially if that's the case though.
So they should be able to make it on a full tank.
It's sort of the Trois Rivières, same thing. They kept making that race a little bit longer until fuel became a factor.
Watching Marc-Antoine Cameron still best Tagliani, Lacroix, Lassard, Arsenault, LeBay, and Gannett are all the cars we've just seen sneak through there. And the last one we saw was that Ranger 27.
Andrew Ranger is the last person I'd want to see in my rearview mirror this season. He is so hungry for some success. We're getting reports of debris right around the flag stand. We believe it came off the 03 of Arsenault so far. No yellow. They continue to race, but NASCAR is monitoring the situation.
It was good to see Ranger get a good run on the dirt on one of the nights there, got in the top 3, and they needed that so bad. I mean, we talk about drivers who having fantastic seasons like Lapsevich, but I think of so many other drivers. Like, you know, the 17 is sick of us talking about his rad problems. You know, he said that to us at the dirt race. I want you guys to talk good stuff about the Kennington 17 car.
No, for sure. You've got to think for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. When there's a driver that's having extreme good fortune, and Trayton Lapsevich is that driver this year, they really haven't had a lot of hard luck. If they're having all that good luck, it is counterbalanced with someone not getting the results that they feel they deserve.
You know, let's talk about the luck, though. When you are having good luck, Lapsevich has had some bad runs. I mean, out west, the car wouldn't fire. It turned out to be a switch issue. They got it fixed. He managed to stay on the lead lap. There were a lot of good recoveries that they were able to make, even when they've had bad things happen.
One thing that every NASCAR Pinty Series championship has had since the start of this series in 2007 is turning points in the season, where things could have gone this way or they could have gone that way. You see, if it hadn't happened, what could have been. But you look back at the moments where they were able to persevere. Each and every champion has a similar story.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the turning point for Lapsevich was. It seemed like they were good out of the box and it just kept going.
It was opening day, but like you say, it's out west when the ignition switch fails and he's still able to make it to the green flag and salvage a great run. I mean, that's a huge moment for that team.
You know, maybe the turning point is when someone like Glenn Stiers gets involved and helps you finish your season. You're the point leader and you're trying to figure out finances to figure out how am I going to continue to go on in my chase to be a NASCAR champion.
And for those of you interested in the history of the series, we look at Arsenault to the inside of Raphael Lassard in turn number 1, and Alex LeBay wants to take advantage as well, but Raphael Lassard not done. He's going to keep his nose now. He's going to back out of it. This is not the first time Glenn Stiers has supported the Lapsevich family in the NASCAR Pinty Series. When Caden Lapsevich won his championship, he had Ohsweken Speedway's World of Outlaws event as a sponsor when they raced at Chaudière, which was one of the best NASCAR Pinty's races ever.
Yeah, Jeff Lapsevich came to Ohsweken for some help, and they got talking. I think Glenn wanted him to drive his APC late model. Trayton said, look, I'd love to keep going at this, and they worked out a deal, and it has been beneficial for both sides. Glenn gets his logo individually, and Lapsevich gets to continue winning.
Well, keep in mind, GSR, Glenn Stiers Racing, is more than just Glenn Stiers. As Trayton Lapsevich, it looked like he locked up the brakes there. It is a brand. And you want your brand to be successful, which it is very successful on dirt tracks. On pavement tracks, they haven't seen that level of success until getting involved with Trayton Lapsevich. As we look at Tagliani closing the gap on race leader Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Yeah, it almost makes me wonder, is Tag maybe just riding here? Like, I got a good car, but I don't need to put the pressure on. Let him burn up his stuff right now, trying to run away from me. But I don't know, Cameron, you know, anytime he's got out front, we've never seen his stuff fall off. If he's good right to the end, it seems.
I'm trying to think. Well, you know what we have seen? We've seen Cameron make mental mistakes. In Toronto, we've watched him having a great run and find the tire wall and end his day. And not to pick on Cameron, we've seen that out of a lot of our top runners because you have to run at 100% or a little bit more if you want to maintain the lead in one of these races.
Still picture perfect so far is Marc-Antoine Cameron. In fact, the top 4 have been almost perfect. Lacroix not going away, still in position number 3. And then you've got, you know, Tagliani stuck in the middle. He's been so good today.
And the top 4 have been at the front of this pack the whole time. It's when you go 5th on back with drivers like Alex LeBay, Alex Gannett, Andrew Ranger, drivers that did fall back in the field. they've been battling just a little bit at the front. They're just driving real fast.
Great view down the straightaway there under the General Tire Bridge as they work their way into the right-hander. Raphael Lessard, Zero King 12. And just behind him now is the Assa Abloy number 3, Evirum machine of Alex Gannett, fresh from a trip to Daytona last night. Imagine what his 24 hours were like. You know, the race ends, you got to get back to Canada.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. He got caught in one of the big ones, the classic big ones that seem to always happen at Daytona.
35 laps still to go, so we are 20 in.
We're basically halfway to the mandatory caution that we know there's going to be. Oh, we've got a new race leader. Alex Tagliani out in front of Cameron in the 96.
Not sure when he slipped by there, but that's okay. Tags in the NTN, St. Hubert's Genetech machine rolling away.
And Tagliani was able to do it without giving up a lot of time because Kevin Lacroix still not entirely close. He's more than a second and a half behind, but Tagliani out in front. He's already put some daylight between himself and that 96 machine at Cameron.
Generac machine, my mistake. Tagliani, those colors throw everybody off. Not used to seeing that yellow and red machine, but it looks good out front as he streaks off back to the front side of the speedway here, down the backstretch, and that's the one you set out, mostly just a long straightaway, a couple slight bends in it.
They're coming up on some slower traffic. I believe that's Wallace Stacy in the 66 just ahead of our race leaders. As they work back towards the start-finish line, they should be able to, at least Tagliani, should be able to make that pass going into turn number 1, and he will.
Stacy gives lots of room right up to the outside of the fourth lane. It will be Tagliani, Marc-Antoine Cameron in our pictures. They run 1-2.
Let's have a look at this pass for the lead. And same thing, the straightaway that's not quite straight makes that move on the inside of turn number 10. Passes him clean, and he leads the way into 11 and 12 and down past the start-finish line, Clint.
Yeah, Tagliani just hung it out there, kept his foot in, drove it right out to the outside. We talked about how wide the track is. Tough to block when you got 10 lanes deep.
And you're in a rhythm, right? Cameron, you've run 20 laps. That's 240 turns, and you've been out in front. So Tagliani catches you by surprise. Good for Cameron for not turning down into the corner and making contact there. But a beautifully timed move by Alex Tagliani, who we said that's kind of his MO.
Gannett will work his way around the Stacy car, the next one to get past that marker. And they just get around him there as Stacy to the outside. There's a look at the leader, the yellow and red machine of Alex Tagliani as he holds off Marc-Antoine Cameron, Kevin Lacroix.
That is still, for road racing, this is a tightly bunched top 5. I mean, they've still got everyone in their sights. Alex Gannett sort of missed turn number 1 there. He was about a car width and a half higher than most people run through turn 1.
He was able to get around Lessard, put that number 3 car up one more position towards the front. New look also on the 3 car, not used to the green on that machine.
Pretty sporty look, I'd say. As Kevin Lacroix looking for room to get around the slower traffic. Right now, he is bottled up just a little bit. Finally going to make that move. Is that Herbie Drescher?
A little tough to tell who that is there.
Oh, it's Jacques Gannett.
They come up on more lap traffic here as Tagliani will tiptoe to the back bumper of another car up in front of him.
We should mention as we are under yellow.
I was going to say they look slow there pulling away.
Jacques Gannett is not new to motorsports. He ran some with the Grand Am series back in the early 2000s. Thomas Neveu on pit road in that 24 machine, and the crew is going to work under the hood, but they're not going to work very quickly.
That's not a good sign when your crew is taking their sweet time. That usually means it's catastrophic and you know it. Window net down.
Yeah, that's the other tell. So if he did blow something up and leave fluid on the racetrack, 100 years ago, Clinton, and it was more CTMP when we called those races, there was no television coverage. There was no screen to call from.
100 years ago.
Oh, okay, it was 2007. I think we didn't normally
You
get...
had one birthday yesterday, and all of a sudden yesterday was 50 years ago.
That's right. You know how we called the races? You could see about 10 seconds, yeah, like Fred Flintstone with the string and the can.
Knocked out the bottom of the popcorn and just yelled through the box.
We could see the cars for about 12 seconds up through turns from turn 8, 9, 10, and then gone. Well, the lap times are a minute and a half. So you've got to tell stories for a minute and 15 seconds. All you would have to go on is the corner marshal's radio. And I don't know if you've ever listened to safety marshals on a road course. It is a very structured way that they communicate. So you'd have to try to listen to who's off the track and who's done this and what's going on. And some of them are more dramatic than others. So you'd have to translate. But anyhow, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But it was always a lot of fun. Let's take a quick break while we've got this chance under yellow. We will be right back with more action from Circuit ICAR. Welcome back to Circuit ICAR in Mirabel, Quebec. The Evirum 125, 55 laps around this 12-corner road course. We have completed 24 laps, and Marc-Antoine Cameron, when he takes the lead of a race on a road course, quite often he keeps it. I mean, he's just so very good, so technical. Alex Tagliani, though, one of the best in the world.
Seeing some cleanup happening there.
What on earth are we looking at?
I thought it was a hood originally, but it weighs way too much for that.
Okay, that must be one of the barriers in that chicane. And I'm glad there's 12 people out there, but one of the poor suckers having to carry that.
The littlest guy.
So they use different things to mark the edge of a racetrack. There's rumble strips, but I noticed earlier there's a few, and those don't look like much, Clinton, but you don't want to run over.
Right off your car.
So I'm not sure exactly what that piece was that they just reloaded, but I imagine whoever ran it over wishes they hadn't.
Well, at least, hopefully it was flat.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder, like, just so we're speculating because we don't have all the views, but Tom's Neveu, if you hit the bottom there, tear out your oil pan pretty quick.
Tear out your oil pan, could take out the radiator.
But then you'd think we would have fluid on the ground. So what are they doing here?
So these are drilled into the ground?
Yeah, so you can see the red plate there, Adam, just to the right where the official's standing in front of it. They're like armor plates that are bolted down to the track. So they're trying to get those bolts out or flush cut them off with the chop wheel there, and that's awesome.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, no safety glasses, no pants.
Don't say that.
But so you got I guess it'd be like an armor barrier, right? It's like checker plate there, and you can see the two shots to the right, and almost like a bolted down rumble strip.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. You know, at Charlotte, when they first went to the Roval, had the turtles.
Yeah.
These are just turtle parts. They don't have the whole turtle. Just turtle paws.
Well, hopefully they got everything out of the way. Looks like they're ready to go.
How many times have we seen it where something goes wrong, a catch fence gets damaged, a safer barrier, and you've got to come out and perform surgery. And it's not always pretty, but the show must go on.
I think as race fans, you always appreciate the track crews that hustle. You know, I always joke, go to the Blue Jays game, they come out to fix up the grounds between innings. They're not dragging the rake behind them and staggering out. They're hustle, and it really adds to, the fans' appreciation. Because when you do have a long delay, sometimes you can't avoid it.
Talking about that, I was at Yankee Stadium last week to catch the Red Sox and the Yankees, and it was enjoyable. I mean, it's an historic place. But their grounds crew is nothing compared to the crew for the Toronto Blue Jays. They build them as the world's fastest grounds crew, and they are clearly much faster and energetic than the team at Yankee Stadium. Now, the team, they did a fine job. Nobody tripped in a hole in the dirt.
Just not the best in the world.
It's not the best in the world, so hats off to the folks from Toronto. Up until then, I'd never been to another Major League park, so I couldn't tell if it's like a diner that says world's best cup of coffee.
Just have to take the
How
word
do you
for
know?
it.
It's an Elf reference, in case you... Have you watched that movie?
Yes.
It's the world's best.
Alex Tagliani leading Marc-Antoine Cameron and Kevin Lacroix here. A bunch into this one. 29 to go.
And it's really been drivers working their way through the field. There was a lot of passing in the early going. And then it's been a lot of stalking people for position. Every restart, for a veteran racer, every restart should result in 1 or 2 spots gained. Obviously, when you're at the front of the field in an elite field of cars, it's harder to do. But this is where I watch for a driver like Alex Labbe, Andrew Ranger, to really step up and take advantage of a restart.
Well, we talked earlier about Tagliani could have just been riding, and obviously he was, because when the time came to take it, he jumped up there and pounced on the Cameron 96. Puts him back into second position. Get a good look at the entire field now as they streak by here. Lights are still on in the pace car.
They're about to go off from what we gather. We're going to go back to green. As you can see, these drivers scrubbing their tires a little bit harder, testing their acceleration. There's a lot of grip on this race course. So acceleration should not be a problem, as Alex Tagliani will lead the way. When they come back to the restart, you're going to see a couple of pylons. Well, you see one clearly in the screen. They're in the fence, and that is the restart zone. From the time the drivers reach that restart zone till the time they leave the restart zone, the leader has the choice to fire anywhere in there. If they get to the end of the restart zone, that's when the flagman will start the race and outside pole can go.
Cameron Tagliani pacing here off of turn number 12 onto the front straightaway. The pace car into the pit area. We are ready to go once more. The Evirum 125 here from Circuit ICAR, just outside of Montreal, Quebec.
Our last stop of the year in La Belle Province. Under green once again, they charge down into turn number 1. A good start by Justin Arsenault on the outside. Can he keep his nose to the inside of Kevin Lacroix for turn 2?
Everybody bunching up there. The back part of the group there. Wow, that was tight through there off. Onto the back chute they come. Here's Tagliani. Cameron looking to the inside, but has nowhere to go yet. Has no choice but to fall back in line.
Down into turn number 3. Field still sorting itself out. That is not what I expected. Alex Gannett is the driver who stepped up, put himself into the 4th position in that 3 machine. It's easy to spot with that green paint scheme on the 3 of Alex Gannett, but he's up to the 4th spot.
Get a good look at the Genetec NTN Quick machine here of Alex Tagliani, the Paye Chevrolet 96 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, rolling good through the middle here, trying to grab that lead back, or at least keep tagging his sights. They're side by side, and it's Lacroix and Gannett.
Kevin Lacroix makes that pass in turn number 10, then through 11. Number 12 is a left-hand turn, and they'll charge down towards the hairpin. Alex Labbe looks to the inside of Gannett. Gannett all sorts of loose down into turn number 1. Give Alex Labbe that 4th spot. 5th spot.
Trying to get that spot from Gannett on the backside there as he was sliding it up to the rear end of the number 3 car. Still looking to the inside now as he smokes those tires down on the corner entry.
See, and that's the difference. Gannett knew he was coming. right? Just like Arsenault did earlier, but Arsenault turned down in contact and they slid. Gannett was able to race side by side with Lessard and beat him off of turn 3.
Ranger looking racy now on the back end here of the Lessard Duraking 12. And what can we say about Justin Arsenault? You know, got up into third, been able to hold on to that spot.
Now he's pretty racy. He showed a lot of speed in the early going at Trois Rivières as well. So a quality young race car driver. He cut his teeth in international kart racing. The way a lot of these drivers of today did.
Good look there at Alex Labbé as he tries to challenge Kevin Lacroix. That's the battle for about 4th and 5th on the speedway.
Justin Arsenault, sorry, Clint, Kevin Lacroix and Alex Labbé all just turned their fastest laps of the race.
Time to turn it up if you've got anything that's going to work for you today. You don't want to wait till the very end, midpoint of the race here. Time to start putting it down.
And we have just passed the midway point of the race. We're 10 laps from the yellow flag that's going to come out and give these teams the option of adding fuel if they choose. Tail of 2 drivers there is Kevin Lacroix in the 74, Alex Labbé in the 36. Both of them are blinding fast, but they have a different way of going about it. Alex Labbé just seems like he is always in the perfect line, so much control. Kevin Lacroix is just all out fast.
These two have been the class of the field so far this afternoon. The 18 of Tagliani, the 96 of Cameron. We've seen a lot of these two up front. Start out with Cameron leading. And about 10 laps ago, Tagliani was able to get it back, or take it for the first time, we should say. The question is, can Cameron get it back? He looked to the inside there, but thought better of it.
Let's see if Justin Arsenault up into the 3rd spot. Can he close in on this lead duo? His brother Eli Arsenault had some solid runs with the series, showed a lot of speed at certain times, but never quite put it all together.
Tagliani, Cameron just putting the laps together here. About a 2.5 to 3 car length disadvantage for the 96. Arsenault back there about double that space behind them.
Tagliani took a lot different approach into that chicane than Cameron. He took a wider entry, which allows him to get straighter coming off. Cameron took a straighter entry going in. Interesting to see 2 drivers both getting the most out of their cars, but doing it a little bit differently.
Cameron's car seems very settled. Tagliani's car just float all over the place wherever he needs it to go, but it's fast out front.
Kevin Lacroix just behind Alex Labbé all over the back end. We'll look at the timing and scoring. Alex Labbé was almost the fastest car on the track that time, just 2/100 slower than Tagliani. So the 36 of Labbé really putting down some nice laps at the moment as they work around, I believe, the JF LaBerge 91.
Get a good look at the gap between the field as the leaders come by first. Now there's the run, and it will be Labbé to the inside of that LaBerge car that was a little bit slower, and everybody worked their way through. You see him driving right across those rumble strips, and if you saw what we just saw, you'd be giving a little more width off that side.
Alex Gannett got slowed up a little bit by LaBerge. Now we'll get to the inside in turn number 10. They'll race side by side off of turn 10. Now we see the leaders across the start-finish line into turn number 1. 32 laps complete.
Tagliani with about a car length to 2 out front. But Cameron has shown us multiple times this year when it's go time. If he's got the go, he will do it.
We have talked about this mandatory yellow on lap 39, Clinton. Really, the fact that we've had 2 caution periods so far would have allowed these drivers to save a lot of fuel. So if they were on the brink or indecisive about whether they were going to stop and take on fuel, those 2 yellow flags we've already had may have made up their mind.
You got to wonder, is anybody playing the strategy game maybe banking on that break? But not really, because you got track position. You do not want to come in for fuel. You want to stay out there and keep your positions.
No, for sure. Track position at this point is going to be key because everybody at the front of this field is so darn fast. Even if you can close into the front of the field, you're going to use up a lot of race car to do it. As we've seen, Andrew Ranger is ahead now of Raphael Lessard. So Lessard has slid backwards just a little bit in recent laps, and I think I saw contact. No, I didn't, out of the corner of my eye with the LeBerge slower car. But some of the leaders having some trouble catching the LeBerge machine in the wrong part of the racetrack.
Ranger makes his way past that Lassard car and will move him spot up. One more position now. And that's going to put Ranger up to 7th. Lassard back to 8th. JP Bergeron 9th, and Trayton Lapsovich inside the top 10. Haven't seen that 20 car on our screen all day, but slowly working his way up.
That's exactly what he needs to do to win the championship.
Inch away.
Have the front in his sights. Don't make a lot of noise. Just run your race and avoid your competition.
Here's Tagliani once again. Car all over the speedway, but it is quick out front. Cameron pouncing, trying to find the advantage, anything that he can do to get up the inside quarter of this 18.
Just world-class talent in this NASCAR Pinty series. You think about some of the series these drivers have competed in, some of the tracks all over the world. And we get to see them all together in these stock cars that are challenging to drive. They don't accelerate as well as cars they've driven. They don't slow down or turn as well as the cars they've driven. But, man, they're fun to watch compete. And is that Kevin Lacroix? The 74 of Kevin Lacroix. You just talked about the line he was choosing to run.
Yeah, it looks like a left front tire problem for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And now Lassard stopped on the speedway, Adam.
And the left front should not have been the tire that had a problem. Although if you go all 4 off the track, it could. Lassard is off the racetrack, but I don't believe he's far enough off to be deemed in a safe spot. So I have a feeling we might see a yellow. And if that's the case,
grab a gear, we're definitely going to see a yellow here.
They may make that the mandatory caution, but we'll see what officials decide to do as we remain under green with Cameron all over the back end of our race leader, Alex Tagliani.
Yeah, made up a lot of ground that time. And really pushing hard on the backside. Tough break for Rafael Lassard, was in the top 5 and battling. He faded back to 8th the last time we spoke of him, and now he's way at the back. The question is, can he grab a gear, or are we going yellow?
So far, we remain green, 35 laps complete. Tagliani will work his way into turn 7, 8, and 9. And then the heavy braking at turn number 10 is Cameron close enough to make a move. He's about a half car length back. We could see it if he swings to the outside on exit of this corner, and there goes Lassard. He got the car running, and Tagliani defends the entry of turn 10.
Yeah, I almost feel like the crew told Cameron, let's go. Yellow's coming, brakes coming. We want to be the leader here, because he just took that bit in his mouth and really turned up the wick, but so did Tagliani. He's having no part of it.
What a great job by Sharpie, the race director. And there's no way of knowing if the 12 of Lassard, if that car is running or if it's going to run or if he can find a gear, but they gave him the opportunity to do so, and sure enough, they avoided having to go yellow.
I would like to commend this crew for a lot of the recent race we've seen here, especially on the dirt. There were a lot of times when the yellow could have easily been thrown prematurely. They hung it out, kept the racing good. Hood up on the Lassard machine. Who's that in there in front of him, Adam?
Trying to figure out whose car that is. I'll tell you in just a moment.
Is that the other Gannett car?
LP Montour, I believe.
Either way, Tagliani. We watch him still leading Marc-Antoine Cameron. We saw them clear the 12 in the pit area, so he will not need a yellow.
LP Dumoulin in the 47. Remember, he was the free pass recipient in our first yellow. He is into the top 10. He runs in the 9th spot. Just turned his fastest lap of the race.
You know, that's what we talk about, too. We want a lot of what we call comers and goes. You know, you want to see not everybody just roll out and finish where they started. We want to see them move up and down a bit.
Here we see him closing in on Trayton Lapsovich in that number 20 as Marc-Antoine Cameron up behind Tagliani as they work towards turn number 3.
Top 4 all in view there as they work around. It's Tagliani, Marc-Antoine Cameron, then Justin Arsenault and Alex Lebay were the 4 we were seeing there. And there comes Arsenault and Lebay into the picture at the last moment.
See the difference in the line going into that chicane as we are under yellow.
Halfway break now?
Yeah, it wasn't really a halfway break. It was a peculiar number that they chose to use for the break. They had expected it to be around lap 39. There's 37 laps complete, so regardless, I'm sure this will be the opportunity for teams to come in and fuel.
18 laps remain here from Circuit ICAR, Mirabel Airport, just outside of Quebec. Just outside Montreal in Quebec.
So look at the top four, how they get spread out. Alex Gannett running fifth, trying to close that gap here under yellow.
Well, I'm betting none of the drivers we just spoke about are going anywhere, unless they absolutely need to for fuel. But you would think that these drivers would be ready to complete all 125.
It's also an insurance policy for NASCAR. Because you've got to give these, if there's even a chance, you've got to give the teams an opportunity to come for fuel when it comes to planning the race, because you don't know if there's going to be yellow flags. We've had road races with no yellows. We've had them here at Circuit ICAR, in fact.
Yeah, it's not that uncommon, you know, because they can get that one turn cleaned up. We can keep rolling.
JF Lebert's going to take his position as the free pass recipient. And if this is the break, he should go right around the pace car.
He will follow the pace car until given instructions, and there they are.
So when it's a break or a scheduled yellow like this, they don't wait until one to go to release the free pass car. So it's a good way for us commoners to know if it's a yellow flag or a break. Okay, wait a second. He went, he caught up, he didn't go, then he went, and now the pace car has passed him back.
Crew yelling at him, don't pass the pace car. He gives it back, but they'll let him go here shortly.
We mentioned this is the last stop for the Tour here in Quebec. 2 races to go, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And then at the end of September at Delaware Speedway, which is really the unofficial home for stock car racing here in Canada. So we'll take a quick break here. Pit road remains closed, and when we come back, it'll be the exciting finish from Circuit ICAR. Welcome back to Circuit ICAR, where we remain under yellow. The green flag is waving. It's hard to tell because there's a corner worker with a yellow flag right behind them in the camera, but the green flag is waving to pit road, and there's a lot
more takers than we assumed. Ranger will pull in and get some service.
Now there's some hands waving over there.
We want to move up a bit, maybe? Got to get more in the box by the looks of it.
It looked that way. Larry Jackson trying to pull in. So this makes me wonder a lot, Clinton Jeffrey.
How so?
What? DJ Kennington, two things. He's not going to give up track position unless he feels he needs to. He's also not going to spend any more money on fuel than he needs to. So he's not going to dump this thing with more Sunoco fuel unless he feels he needs it. But now, because not everyone came down pit road, but a lot of cars did.
You see the Lapsevich crew, they're like, where's my guy?
One thing we found with these organized cautions, and there you go, some of the leaders did not come in. There is sometimes some confusion.
Now they're allowed to go to work.
So until the last car comes to a stop, normally these teams cannot fuel the race cars.
So a bit of track work going on here as they continue to pull up some of these rumble strips that are causing problems.
You got to commend their effort. So this is fascinating to me.
Well, the hood's up on the Kennington 17. And it goes back down just as quick.
They couldn't put tires on, so you can't add tires unless you have a tire damaged or going flat. To see on the screen who stayed out there. So obviously Tagliani did, so did Camerand. Did LeBay make a mistake and come down pit road and not stop in his pit stall? Because we saw him rolling. His pit stall should have been at the very start of pit road.
Well, that's a good question.
But he wouldn't have come into the pits unless he had to, because he would have been behind Tagliani and Cameron, so we would have seen them stay on the track.
Either way, field stop behind the pace car here. Right under the General Tire Bridge.
That's LP Dumoulin, is it not?
I believe it is, yes. 14 cars have stayed out here.
Trayton Lapsevich is out on the racetrack. Alex Gannett is on track. JF LeBerge, who just got the free pass and just passed about 15 cars by staying on the track. Now, we'll see. By rule, I don't know how that works. I don't know if he'll have to go to the back as the free pass recipient or if it resets before all those cars pull into the pits.
It's a good debate. I could see it go either way. You come around to the back end of the field, that kind of resets things. I'm not saying officially, I'm just speculating how it could be. And then if you choose to go in, you don't know you're last or you're not.
So the teams will come out of the pits in the same order they went in. They'll get sorted out on the racetrack. You couldn't gain or lose spots in the pits. You would only give up your track position. So DJ Kennington came in running 10th. He's not going to come back out running 10th. But he will be ahead of everyone who was behind him who also pitted.
16 laps to go. Once again, it's the Evirum 125 from Circuit ICAR, Mirabel Airport, just outside Montreal, Quebec.
There's not much that scares me, Clinton, as much as a car running out of gas in car racing. Because there's nothing, there's no brake lights on these cars. There's no signal when someone runs out of fuel. All you can do as a driver is wave your hand and hope the others see you and don't clobber you.
I understand as a driver you hate it, but as a fan, there's no better drama than when guys push it too far and start running gas. I mean, you and I grew up on the dirt at Syracuse for the 200. And those were the most dramatic days.
That's what I was thinking of,
when you race
too.
for an hour and a half or 2 hours and finally come with 3 to go, you just can't make it. And the guy who was dominant all day runs out of fuel.
So we'll have to wait until the field comes by to give you a full field rundown. We do know this. Alex Tagliani is the race leader in the number 18. Marc-Antoine Camerand runs second.
Taking a lap or two to get everybody through the timing loop into the right positions.
And I'm seeing a bunch. I'm looking at my timing monitor, and a bunch of them are lighting up. But the lap counter is not advancing. So we're going to have to wait until our first green flag lap, because the order is not changing. So far we've seen the popular spots for passing mostly turns 1 and turn 10. Now Raphael Lessard is going around the pace car. Mostly turn 1 and turn 10, a little bit of turn number 3. So the top running cars that hit the pits were the 03 of Justin Arsenault, the 36 of Alex Labate, the 27 of Andrew Ranger. And Ranger racing with Jeff Wilcox as his crew chief with Dave White on the pit box as well. They love to gamble. So the fact that he pitted surprises me a little bit.
Well, they obviously felt they could make the car better, or they knew a bunch of other teams were coming in anyways.
So we should be fixing to restart this race here, I would imagine this time. If that's the case, the lights will be turning off this pace car after they come through the chicane here. And that chicane has claimed a couple of victims here this afternoon.
We haven't actually seen it, but it's obviously an issue. We've seen them work on it multiple times from right there.
Well, and we've watched Kevin Lacroix drive through it. It is a straightaway.
See a bit of debris out there on the speedway right now. Not sure what that was. Could have just been some rubber.
And when we go around under caution, you can see some of the other configurations the track has taken on over time.
Lights still on the pace car, so that means we're going to be here for at least one more out of it. The lap counter still frozen, as you mentioned. So if anybody gambled on fuel, they're wondering why that ticker isn't ticking along.
Yeah, true enough.
Still the yellow being flown by Mike Charret.
Great crowd here on hand for this race. You know, every time we fan past the grandstands, you notice that they're jammed full, but there's also people perched in every spot you can be perched on.
Lacroix back on pit road with the hood up now in the 74. They've had a frustrating year as well.
Yeah, there's been great moments and a lot of speed at certain times, just not what we're used to seeing out of Kevin Lacroix. Having said that, he runs 5th in the point standings. 85 points out of the lead, but 2 points out of 4th and 7 points out of 3rd. So still a lot to race for him.
Still tough to tell if it's a suspension adjustment they're working on. Looks like they're up around the carburetor area there, Adam. So tough to tell what's wrong with the Lacroix 74.
He's got a little bit of time. So if he was to release now, he should be able to catch the field by the time they go green. The lights have come out on the pace car. And now they're to the part of the racetrack where even if Kevin Lacroix comes out of the pits, he won't be able to get all the way around to the tail end of the field by the time they go green.
Not sure if that was him hustling by the other way down the straight. We will know shortly as they come out here. Lights off, as you mentioned, on the pace car. It'll pull into the right side here into the pits, and we'll be ready to go.
And it's time to go for these drivers.
$16 remain. 15 when they come to the stripe.
Alex Tagliani going to lead the field to green. Look at LP Dumoulin. He was a lap down early in this race. He's restarting in third. JF LeBerge, I'm not sure where he was going to that restart, but he backs out of it. Sam Fellows up there in the top 6 as well in the 87.
Yeah, LeBerge into the left rear quarter. Sam Fellows, the top 4, all tight there. Dumoulin in the mix now for the first time today, position number 3. But up front, it is Alex Tagliani holding off the Marc-Antoine Cameron 96 with LP Dumoulin in the WeatherTech Dodge up to third now, and Gannett with problems on the backstretch.
Yeah, that's actually right at the entrance to pit road.
I have the feeling we're going to see the yellow come out once more.
They'll give Gannett the opportunity to try to get going. Blue flag being waved, which is not an official flag, it's just a warning. Now once you see the yellows waving, the race director has called the yellow flag.
And under yellow, once again, we will go.
And now we'll be able to give you a full field rundown, because timing and scoring flipped over to 40 laps complete last lap, but then it reset. And no, that won't make the officials happy. Alex Gannett's car miraculously fired after the yellow came out. Let's take you through the rundown, folks. Tagliani is the leader in the 18, and then it's Cameron in the 96, LP Dumoulin in the 47, the 20 of Trayton Lapsevich, and the 31 of Daniel Bois. 6th through 10th is Sam Fellows in the 87, the 27 of Andrew Ranger, 92 Dexter Stacey. Now these are drivers that stop for fuel. 36 Alex LeBay in the 17 of DJ Kennington.
11th on down, Justin Arsenault, the 03. 12th to be Larry Jackson. 13th, Serge Bardot. Then in the 14th spot, Jacques Gannett. JP Bergeron in the 15th spot. Dave Kursel in the 16th and number 54. Wallace Stacey runs 17th in the 66. Herbie Drescher will be 18th in the 53. The 19th of JF LeBerge. And then Alex Gannett in the number 3 way back there in 20th.
Kevin Lacroix scored 21st with Raphael Lessard 22nd, LP Montour 23rd, 24th is Thomas Neveu, and Glenn Stiers in the 0 is 25th. All that with 40 laps complete here of the scheduled 55 lap distance, and now Alex Gannett, that car has stopped again.
NASCAR will help him out with the shove. Figure out what is up with the car. Number 3 here of Alex Gannett. Evirum on the hood. Of course, Asa Abloy on the tail, as they've been all season.
And that's a great story, too. Alex Gannett, who got his first career win last year at the Grand Prix de Trois-Rivières. And his grandfather was so excited, saying, we're going full-time racing next year. And I believe, rumor has it, his grandfather said that on the radio as Alex Gannett was racing.
Oh, really?
If you win this race, we're going racing next year.
What kind of motivation is that?
No pressure. Raphael Lessard in the free pass position.
Now the 3-car running again. So intermittent issues. Going under the hood quickly here for the number 3 of Alex Gannett.
I wonder what they're going to look at. Like, what could it possibly be? It runs, then it doesn't, then it runs, then it doesn't. I know what it's not, but we had a real interesting story in a late model series we covered, Clinton, where a family runs sprint cars on dirt. One brother runs a sprint car on dirt. The other brother runs a late model on pavement. The late model runs on gasoline. The sprint car runs on methanol. When a crew member mistakenly puts methanol in the late model doesn't run very well, and the driver gets very upset.
You know, they find it out, though. It happened in qualifying. They were able to get back, tied for the points lead coming into the night. Good rebound for the Sheridan crew, but
We weren't going to name names. They had to flush the whole system.
If you follow our deal, though, it's not hard to tell who we're talking
No,
about.
for sure, for sure. I don't think there's much methanol in the 3 Crews pit, however, the Ed Hackinson Racing 3. Back under power, he'll return to the racetrack. A lap down, we're going to go back to green. When they cross the stripe, it'll be 42 laps complete, 13 laps remaining. Look at that St. Hubert number 18 and the GM Paillet 96. Not a mark on these race cars yet.
Picture perfect so far today. Is that Lapsevich up to third?
Lapsevich running third. Now keep in mind, LP Dumoulin got real aggressive with him on that restart, and Lapsevich sort of backed out. Remember, he's playing a lot of defense right now, so he's almost got a D. Things happen around him.
Through 11 and 12, here they come. Back to Mike Charet's green flag. We're ready to roll once more. 13 to go.
You'll see the cone in the fence on the left side of the screen. There's 2 of them. That is the restart zone. Anywhere in there, these drivers can choose to go. Tagliani leads them down into turn 1. Cameron tries to hold him down as much as he can, but Tag gonna make the move. Spinning out in the corner is Dexter Stacy in the 92.
Grab a gear and get rolling. Yeah, important for Tagliani to get clear of the 96 because he had him on the inside, but the next turn, 96 was on the inside. Tagliani with 2 car lengths out front, and he's pulling away. Look at that battle for third. It's Dumoulin and Lapsevich.
Trayton Lapsevich got pretty racy there. He holds on to that third position. The top 2 have opened up just a little bit. Tagliani holding off Cameron. A gap back to Trayton Lapsevich, but these are the 2 drivers that have been the class of the field all day long. Do they have enough Sunoco gasoline to get to the end?
We will watch and find out. I think we're still going to have at least 10 more before we start to find out the real truth. If it's going to happen, it'll happen the last 3, but I got to think these teams have just enough in there to get it done. Can Marc-Antoine Cameron get up and put any heat on the back door of this 18 of Tagliani?
The fact that each of these drivers have led a lot of laps today, I don't think either of them are saving fuel. They're not in conservation mode. They've been racing hard out there. Trayton Lapsevich still holding on to third with LP Dumoulin doing everything he can to pick that spot up. He sees the leaders getting further and further away each lap.
Cameron still hanging off the back spoiler, 1 car length back, sometimes 2, but at different points he closes it right in. And you can bet when it comes time to elbows up, Cameron will be there to put the heat on.
Down through that chicane into the back straightaway they go. Tagliani has 3 car lengths advantage over Cameron, so it doesn't look like Cameron's close enough to make a move this time. He gets up over the rumble strips on the inside. That really upsets the 96 machine. Tagliani able to lead the way through 10 and turn 11. He'll hold the lead again with 12 laps remaining.
Cameron looking a little bit more precise as Tags really trying to throw things around out there once more.
Off of turn 1, Tagliani with 5 car lengths lead now as they work through turn 2. Trayton Lapsevich hanging on to third, but LP Dumoulin hot on his heels. They got a little bit of gap back to Sam Fellows and Daniel Bois, but I believe Bois brought around Fellows in turn number 1.
Daniel Bois working his way towards position number 5. Ran in 6th there a second ago. The road course ace spends his days training rich guys how to drive their Porsches around the road course at CTMP.
It's a pretty good gig if you can get it.
Yeah. Daniel was telling me he's one of the rare guys who does actual in-seat ride-along. So he will ride in your passenger seat while you drive your $1 million supercar and try to coach you.
That's, contact in turn number 10. That takes a lot of nerve.
Yeah, that's why most guys don't do it anymore.
LP Dumoulin showing that he wants to get moving, giving a tap to Trayton Lapsevich. Drives it deep down into turn 1. That's your 3rd and 4th place drivers.
Trying to work to that right-hander was LP Dumoulin. Can't get around the 20. What a recovery for these guys so far. Already on the brakes early as Lapsevich turning into the right. Dumoulin right there.
That was an old trick by Dumoulin, looking like he was going to make a move to the inside, so it would affect Trayton Lapcevich looking in the mirror. But Lapcevich fairly unflappable out there behind the wheel of the number 20 as Dumoulin uses all of that racetrack right out to the Armco barrier. A much straighter line into that chicane.
Squeezing it straight down the back chute, trying to find any bit of speed. Both the leaders wiggling all over the straightaway here as Dumoulin once again looking to the inside of Lapcevich.
Right behind them, it's Andrew Ranger closing into the mix with Alex Labay, I believe, hot on his heels there in the 36.
Alex Labay back in the mix, yeah. Ranger with a bit of recovery here as Labay to the inside. Well, they can move into one.
Alex Labay has saved a lot of race car. That was a bold move, but it takes a lot of tire and a lot of brake to be able to make that move down into the first turn here. Alex Labay back into the top 5.
Watching the battle here for third. That is Lapcevich taking it into the righty with Dumoulin right on the back bumper as they work their way through the S's. Labay now up another spot as we just saw him get around one more car.
There has been a lot of passing in this race this afternoon at Circuit ICAR. Trayton Lapcevich, third place car leading the way. Into the chicane. Down the crooked backstretch, but Labay is closed in on LP Dumoulin. Dumoulin's going to have to switch from offense to defense here real quickly.
47 laps complete. We see a bunch of debris right in the groove there. There's a little bit of fiberglass. We'll see if they'll let it go or if they're going to throw the yellow.
Cameron closing in on the back end of Alex Tagliani. They work through turn number 1. LP Dumoulin defending the inside into turn 1 from Alex Labay. It works for now, but you can see that's allowed Trayton Lapcevich to open up a little bit in that third spot. But Alex Tagliani not able to shake the 96 of Cameron.
Now Cameron all over the back bumper of that 18 car of Tagliani, still pushing hard. I think the 96 still has something under the hood for the 18 when he needs it.
There'll be 7 laps to go this time when they get to the stripe, so there is a lot of racing left to go, and if you're in the third spot, we could very well see Trayton Lapcevich pick up another win if these leaders get to battling.
Whoa!
Cameron is right there on the back end of Tagliani.
Yeah, tags lifted. He did not. Now look at these two battling for third. Cameron searching and looking all around the back bumper, looking for a bit of daylight, and the officials are going to let the debris fly.
Looks like they're going to. I think that's a great choice. Tagliani, he's doing a fantastic job of defending the inside into turn 10, but also getting a good run off of turn 12.
Cameron is tight. Oh, look at this one. Lassard backs it into the side here of Dumoulin. See if Dumoulin pays him back in the next turn. You know LP's not going to be happy about that.
No, but Alex Labay gave him all sorts of room. He got loose under braking, gave a lot of room to the inside of Dumoulin. I think that was a classy decision. You know, they're all racing hard, but at the same time, you still have to have some racers etiquette out there.
Some heavy downshift in there by that 36 of Labay, smoking the tires and out the exhaust as he tried to woe it up.
What he needs at this point is a yellow flag. He'd like to close in on Trayton Lapcevich in that 20 machine. A yellow flag would change everything in this race. As Tagliani, man, the back end comes around on that car every lap as they break down into turn 10.
Closing in on 6 to go here, as it is still. Tagliani, and now he's stretched it out a little bit, and they have really pulled away over third place.
Trayton Lapcevich knew there's tracks on the schedule where he was probably not going to come out and contend for wins. This is one of them, GP3R, Toronto, every other track they go to, he knew he could be a contender. For him to be holding down a podium spot here at this racetrack is unbelievable.
It certainly won't be lost on them either as the youngster finds his way around these tracks year after year. You know, look at the veterans he's racing. They've been here, some of them, since we first started coming here, through every event.
That's right. LP Dumoulin under attack from Andrew Ranger, so he was so good coming up through the field, but it looks like things have just started to slip away a little from that WeatherTech number 47. He's got Ranger hot on his heels, and we've still got that battle at the front where Tagliani continues to run the defensive line into turn 10, but he's able to accelerate through 11 and 12 and pull himself out of danger Although I might have spoken too soon. Is Cameron going to try to outbreak him into
Oh,
one?
he wrecks him!
Tagliani goes around in turn number 1. He gets the car back in the right direction. Oh, boy.
Wow, we stay under green. That large gap they had in there, we see the gap that Cameron's got. Wow, now we're going to see a battle for second as Lessard now starting to put the heat on the back end of the Tagliani 18.
Yeah, let's have a look at this replay down into turn number 1. Nope, that's a different one. That's JF LeBerge in the 91.
Lessard got around Lapsevich at some point and all that as well.
Whew, holy moly. Now, if the 91 of LeBerge is sideways, that could...
Yeah, was that a replay or was that currently going on?
I'm not sure.
Here we are. Look at Lessard reeling up the back end, starting to catch Tagliani.
The 36 of Alex LeBay runs third, right behind Tagliani in the 18, and he's got Lapsevich right behind him. So we're talking second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth in a tight row as LeBay with a bold move coming through turn number 12 as he'll try to outbreak Tagliani into the first turn.
Wow, I said Lessard, I meant LeBay. Can you imagine if LeBay got Tagliani in the same spot, second lap? It would not be pleased to get together tight around this right-hander. Lapsevich right in the battle, as well as is LP Dumoulin.
Great launch off of that corner by LeBay. They'll race side by side again into turn number 3.
LeBay made that pass on the outside. The 36 is rolling. A yellow could dramatically change the finish order of this one.
It's certainly
quick.
good. I almost wondered if the officials were going to call the 96 to pit road. It's not a common thing, but it is within their power.
Cameron still up front and leading by a good margin over Alex LeBay, Alex Tagliani, Trayton Lapsevich, and LP Dumoulin with, I believe that's Ranger right in the mix behind them.
It is so. Dumoulin defending down into the 10th turn. That seems to be the common spot for drivers to try to defend. You can't defend turn 1 because as low as you go, the person behind you can always find a way to get lower down into the corner.
Now Tagliani trying to hold off the Lapsevich 20, working their way back to that same right-hander again.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever wished for a yellow flag more than I am right now. So still the storyline is, do these leaders have enough fuel? We know LeBay stopped for fuel. We know that Andrew Ranger stopped for fuel, but there's a number of drivers who did not. Trayton Lapsevich pouring on the pressure on his teammate Alex Tagliani. Both of those cars prepared out of the Scott Steckley stables in Milverton, Ontario.
Tagliani has had a great day, but he's not going to feel it, Adam. He's not going to feel the love of this race at ICAR today.
If I'm Cameron and I win this race, I run my fastest lap of the day on the cool down lap.
Yeah, no doubt. Coming down to the backside of this one, quickly winding things up here.
52 laps are complete. There's 3 laps remaining here at Circuit ICAR. It has been a barn burner of a race. That move for the lead, Cameron to the inside of Tagliani. Contact was made. Tagliani went spinning. Cameron well out in front of this one right now.
What a change in positions we've had here.
On the last lap, Alex LeBay was 2 seconds. That can't be right. Oh, it's not right. You look at those times on the last lap.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
2 seconds faster than the race leader. We could have a race yet.
Tagliani still running back there in position 2. Or 3, I should say, sorry.
He is closing the gap. Alex LeBay is closing like crazy on our race leader, Cameron.
About 2 and a bit to go, maybe 3 laps. We're closing in, less than 5. No, white flag is out.
1 more lap to go. Can he do it? LeBay is closing that gap as we focus on the battle for third.
Things have stretched out quite a bit right now. The question is, can that 36 catch the 96?
Driver from Victoriaville, Quebec in the 36, trying to close in on Marc-Antoine Cameron. We got a car slow. Lots of damage, but he appears to be up out of the groove. We should stay under the green flag.
Only a few more turns to go. Tagliani, who we're watching here, had the brace in his hand for the longest time, but a few laps ago had it taken away. Currently runs in third.
Cameron might have been conserving fuel, but he's had to pick up the wick because he could see LeBay getting faster and faster, closes in his rear view. He's through turn number 10. It's 11 and 12 as Marc-Antoine Cameron going to face down the checkered flag here at Circuit ICAR and take the Evirum 125.
Alex LeBay will be second. Alex Tagliani will be third. The rest of them we will watch as they come on through.
Trayton Lapsevich with an impressive fourth place run. LP Dumoulin fifth. What a show it was. And Tagliani just slowing down, a slow cool down lap.
Yeah, it's only been through 3 of 12 turns, so got a long way to go.
That's a pretty calm cool down lap. Let's take a look at this pass. Cameron to the inside.
He's kind of out of control there early. He backed it in way too early, though.
Tag closed the door.
He was still
but
too hot.
Cameron was coming in sideways.
He was too hot. Coming in hot.
Folks, we're so glad you joined us for this show here from Circuit ICAR and Mirabel. Marc-Antoine Cameron is the victor, and that will do it for today's stream. Thanks so much for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.